From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Our top story this evening, Tuesday evening, Fairbanks police received reports of gunfire in the area of Draws Drive and Shannon Park subdivision. Now, one witness reported seeing a black Dodge Charger fleeing the area. A single residence appears to have been targeted and was struck by gunfire with multiple rounds penetrating the structure. 2 people were inside the home and neither was hit by gunfire or injured. Police say 20-year-old Christopher Ryan de la Merced Jr. of Fort Wainwright was later arrested and charged with multiple counts of assault and weapons misconduct. He is currently being held at Fairbanks Correctional Center without bail. They are still looking for a second suspect.
There were shots that were fired at one residence in particular, not a group of residences or anything like that. One of the 2 shooters that was determined to be involved in this was later apprehended. The vehicle involved in the shooting has also been located. At this time, we're not releasing details regarding the second person while we look into his identity at this point, but anyone that might have information regarding this incident that occurred in Shannon Park last night is strongly urged to contact Detective Meredith or myself at Fairbanks Police.
The evidence trial for the group of men known as the Fairbanks Four continued all day in Superior Court. Stephanie Woodard has been covering the trial and files this report.
More developments regarding sealed evidence were revealed today in court.
But I couldn't stop the press from publishing what 18,000 people had already seen. That's the bottom line.
During today's proceedings, the confidential hearings were finally brought to light and the information contained inside of them.
This information is out in the public. And if the only place it can't be made public is in this courtroom, in this case, where it's relevant, and then there's got to be something wrong with that law.
That information regards statements allegedly made by Jason Wallace that could corroborate the confession made by William Holmes. That evidence places 5 other men at the scene of the crime that evening.
At night, he was reaching in the person's pocket as Jason was stomping him out, and he said that he could feel the person begin to shake. And he said that before he pulled his hands out, the person stopped shaking.
Jason Wallace's deposition was played in court today.
You solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes.
But Wallace continued to assert his Fifth Amendment privilege when it came to anything that could tie him to the night of Hartman's death.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, plead fifth on that one too. I'm not gonna do that.
Also taken up this afternoon was the party that's been at the center of all of this controversy. It's alleged that Holmes and his group of friends started their night at a party at a former classmate's house.
So Regent was there, are you sure about that? Yes, I'm positive Regent was there. And Bill Holmes was there, are you positive about that? And Rochelle Brown.
Yeah, I seen Bill and Shelmar. Yeah, I seen them outside the party in their car. I remember I was trying to get a ride from them, but the car was full.
By ride with them, do you mean Bill Holmes?
Yeah, Bill Holmes and them, because I wanted to leave, but the car was full.
If Bill would have been there, it would not have been in my house. He may have been in the car. He may have been even outside of the apartment, but there's no way.
Also testified to this afternoon was what happened to the original memorandum faxed to Fairbanks Police Department from the Department of California Corrections.
Set it aside, and I never saw it again until they did the announcement here at the courthouse. And as soon as that announcement, I went, oh crap. Because this was sitting right next to my computer. I mean, I was like, oh my God.
From Rabinowitz Courthouse, I'm Stephanie Woodard reporting.
As you know, Interior residents went to the polls Tuesday for the 2015 municipal election. Carl Castle, presiding officer of the Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly, was elected borough mayor, winning over 3 other candidates. Mayor Luke Hopkins could not seek re-election because of term limits. Castle had 57% of the vote to Tammy Wilson's 39%. The other 2 candidates, Robert Shields and Corey Jackman, each had less than 2% of the vote.
I want to keep our community moving forward, vibrant and healthy. I know we've got financial challenges in front of us, but it's a good opportunity for Fairbanksons to pull together. And we're going to have to get creative on how we do that to keep things moving forward. I want to build some partnerships. I want to try to work on our economic base, get a little bit of economic diversity going. I certainly want to get the cost of energy down. That's going to be one of the highest priorities. That's what's really strangling our community right now. That's the biggest issue that we have before us.
In other contests, Van Lawrence won Assembly Seat A over Dennis Alexander. In the Assembly Seat F race, Catherine Dodge defeated Paul Doak. Pamela Throop and Mike Meeks were elected to the Interior Gas Utility Board. Borough Proposition 1 on regulating heating devices was too close to call at 48 to 51%, with absentee and question ballots still to be tallied. The city proposition to levy a 5% tax on the retail sale of marijuana passed with 83% of the votes. And when we come back, all of the McDonald's restaurants in the Fairbanks area and North Pole made a dramatic change today. We'll tell you what. Also, the Stone Soup Cafe is getting ready for a big fundraiser on Friday and Saturday, featuring a special guest from Fairbanks who has risen to the top. These stories and more when we return. And welcome back. United States Senator Lisa Murkowski today voted to help pass a final version of the 2016 defense spending bill, calling it one of the most important pieces of legislation Congress considers every year. President Obama has threatened to veto the bill, which today passed the Senate by a 70-27 vote. Included in the bill are key provisions for Alaska, including the authorization to build an F-35 flight simulator on Eielson Air Force Base. The bill also requires the Pentagon to articulate its strategy and assess Russia's force structure in the Arctic. That language was put into the final version of the bill by Senator Dan Sullivan of Alaska, who today applauded the passage. Sullivan, who sits on the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, also announced a VA pilot program to help fix Alaska's broken VA healthcare system. Sullivan held field hearings in Alaska to put on record the trouble the state's veterans are having with the current system. The pilot program, which consists of 2 phases, was made public during a VA committee hearing held Tuesday on Capitol Hill.
We have already implemented a virtual integration between Tri-West and the integrated care service in Anchorage, so that there is a direct connection between those individuals at VA Alaska who have worked for a long time with the community providers. Tri-West is going out and recruiting 7 additional individuals who will actually be physically present in the Integrated Care Service Center.
McDonald's locations in Fairbanks and North Pole are now serving several breakfast menu items at all hours. This is after the national chain announced its new breakfast campaign yesterday. McDonald's is now grilling up McMuffin sandwiches alongside its French fries and Big Mac. Interior McDonald's franchise owner Ambrose Padua says the change was in response to nationwide support for an all-day breakfast menu. Via Twitter, more than 120,000 people asked for all-day breakfast in the past year alone. Padua says his franchise locations are embracing the change to meet customer demands.
What our customers want the most, what the favorites are, which is English muffin sandwiches. That is Egg McMuffin, Sausage McMuffin with egg, the burritos, and hot cake sausage. That's what we're doing now to meet their demand. And we're still taking data and taking feedback from the customer to see where we go with it. You know, it might become at one point we'll offer more items that the customers are demanding. So we'll see how we go with that.
The Breadline Stone Soup and Cafe, located on Gaffney Way, currently serves about 100 meals a day to those who may not be able to afford a good meal. Friday and Saturday, the cafe will play host to the public with their second annual foodie fundraiser, featuring 4-course meal prepared by a former Fairbanks chef who is now the executive chef at a restaurant in Washington. The event is held to raise funds to enable the facility to continue its valuable mission of giving many the opportunity to maintain their dignity and pride.
Stone Soup Cafe provides not only a hot, nutritious meal, it also provides a warm, safe place for people to be Monday through Friday. It provides a place where people can come together and have friendships and connection with the community. And it's a place where lines that might otherwise not be crossed are crossed, where people make connection. I think that's really important.
All right, Mike the Muscle Fussle is up next with sports. The Ice Dogs are preparing for their home opener this weekend. Also, a former Nanook will be making his NHL debut. That's all after the break.
Welcome back, Interior Sports fans. Mike Fussell here with your latest local action. We start off with some very exciting news as the NHL season kicks off. Former Nanook All-American Colton Parayko will make his debut in the National Hockey League. Parayko has been courting a spot in the St. Louis Blues opening night roster throughout 5 preseason games. During that period, he finished in a tie for 3rd in the NHL for assists and tied for 9th in points. The Blues open up against the Oilers tomorrow night at home. Parayko will wear the number 55 as one of 7 defensemen on the roster. He played for the Nanooks last year and held a spot for the Chicago Wolves as well. While with the Nanooks, he played a part in a total of 104 games, snagging 83 points by way of 17 goals and 36 assists. And the Fairbanks Ice Dogs will be back in town after a 10-game road trip. Here's a look at how they're getting ready for their homecoming this weekend.
Finally getting to return home to the Big Dipper, the Ice Dogs are now 8-2. They showcased dominance early in the season. Fairbanks went on an 8-game winning streak against 6 different teams, some at the NAHL Showcase. But last week, the Dogs lost 2 games in a row to the Janesville Jets. Forward Todd Burgess said the back-to-back defeats woke up the team.
We obviously went on an 8-game win streak, and I think we got a little cocky. I think we can use it in a positive way and kind of take a step back and use it as motivation for this weekend for the home opener.
Despite the recent losses, Burgess was given NAHL Forward of the Month honors.
I mean, it's obviously exciting, but it's not an individualistic award, I guess. I mean, my line mates, Ryan Nagrowski and Logan Coombs, have been clicking, and I look forward to playing with them for the rest of the season.
This week, the Dogs are preparing for an Alaskan matchup. Fairbanks takes on the Kenai River Brown Bears for the 2nd series of the season. The Dogs got the upper hand on the Bears in the opening 2 games of the season, though. They won 6-2 and 7-3. New goalie Gavin Nieto says the thoughts of 2 early season wins and the latest 2 losses will not be on his mind when he takes the net against the Brown Bears.
If a goal goes in, it goes in. You can't change it. Big save, you got to focus on the next save. You know, I try to keep a next shot mentality, kind of like we keep a next shift, next game mentality. So.
Nieto also says the team is strong but needs to overcome a tendency to play down to other teams' levels.
You know, our defense is, very, very strong on the back end. You know, at times it seems like we play down to our competition. So, we need to bring it. In order to be a championship team, I think we have to bring it every night and, compete the way we know how to compete. And if we do that, I think we're going to be fine. So, as long as we don't play down to the competition, we're going to be fine.
The Ice Dogs will be back at the Patty Center at 7:30 p.m. this Friday. Reporting from the Big Dipper, I'm Mike Fussell.
And the ASAA High School Cross Country State Finals took place down in Anchorage on Saturday. West Valley's Jenna DeFalco came in 8th place in the girls 4A division. She crossed the line with a time of 19 minutes and 54 seconds. That's a 6:25-mile pace. West Valley's Brooke Gottmeyer rounded out the top 15 as well. She came through at 20:14. Ty Donaldson and Spencer Heron finished in the top 15 for the Wolf Pack. Donaldson took 13th at 16 minutes and 43 seconds. Heron finished 1 spot behind and just 3 seconds after. In the 1 through 3A division, there were no top 15 finishers. A pair of Hutchinson Hawks did fly through the course the fastest, though. Grace Moore came across at the 23 spot, and Jack Matherly filed in at number 28. And we wrap things up with the winner of the Pro Football Challenge for Week 4. This week's winner is Anita Jungi. Congratulations, Anita. You win a large 1-topping pizza from Pizza Hut. Anita led the field with 12 out of 15 picks. That's just a couple off from a perfect record during a week with a number of overtime games. She definitely knows what she's doing. As we look at the PFC standings, Arctic Fireman and S73 Maximus are tied at 45 points for the top spot. The Finns drop down a spot and are tied with 2 others for 2nd place. Eagles for Life is in 3rd place and Axelborn is in 4th. I got 8 picks right this week and have 23 overall. Joe Cook got 8 picks as well. Get your picks in for Week 5. Thursday night's football game is Indianapolis at Houston for an AFC South matchup. And that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back into our Wednesday night edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. Mike Schultz will once again talking about weather, and it was a pretty nice day across the interior until the thicker clouds moved in. But all in all, it was a pretty good day. In fact, last night we had another spectacular display from Mother Nature. with the northern lights. If you didn't see him, well, Bill Blizzard did, and he was able to capture this beautiful photograph he sent today to share with you. As you can see, the colors were just really vibrant last night and all over the sky. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, well, please send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Your numbers look like this. Today's high 47, the low last night 28, the record high 65 in 1969. And there's our first minus figure of the year. The record low in 1928 at -1. Sunrise and sunset 10 hours and 39 minutes, a loss of 6 minutes from yesterday. On the satellite and radar, pretty good area of moisture moving across the southern half of the state, but that's where it's staying. The Alaska Range is blocking everything out because it is coming out of the south, but more rain and heavy of times expected over southeast Alaska because of the remnants of what was once a tropical storm around the Hawaii area, now moving into the Pacific Ocean and spreading the moisture that direction. As far as southeast Alaska is concerned today, there is rain falling there today, 50 degrees at Juneau and 55 at Ketchikan. Scattered showers around the Anchorage Bowl, 43, only 43 degrees for the high there. And around the Kodiak Island area, more showers there, 49, Cold Bay 48, partly cloudy. Up and down the west coast, temperatures ranging from 48 at Bethel to 43 at Nome. And then across the north slope into the colder temperatures of Barrow, 24 degrees there, with Fort Yukon at 30 degrees. Lower 48 weather looks like this, and again, a little cool around the Seattle area, 61 degrees there. Still clouds and cooler temperatures across the desert southwest, only in the 80s for Las Vegas and Phoenix. Not quite 90 degrees in Dallas, Fort Worth, in the mid to low to mid 70s across the Rocky Mountains, and then fairly cool around Minneapolis, 63 degrees. Elsewhere across the eastern half, temperatures in the 70s and 80s, all up and down the eastern seaboard and across the southeast. And our satellite pictures can show you things are finally drying out nicely over the eastern half of the country. Scattered showers and thunderstorms that were over the southwest are moving rapidly to the east across the Albuquerque and El Paso regions. And then a good band of moisture moving across the Pacific Northwest. That promises to bring continual rain across the Seattle area. And that storm system that was over the southwest is bringing localized heavy storms with flash flooding, gusty winds, and even some hail mixed in with that system. The overall jet stream, the newest release that was put out this afternoon, as you can see, much of the energy way up to the north, allowing all that warm temperatures to continue to move from the south to the north, with rain expected Saturday and showers and thunderstorms over the east coast also Saturday. Okay, time once again for our kids' weather. And all this week we've been talking with the kids from Chinook Charter School. And tonight, here's a young man with a pretty interesting weather question.
Hi, my name is Alton. I'm in Mrs. Maddie's 7th and 8th grade class. My weather question for the weatherman is, I've heard of thunder snow, where there's a thunderstorm with snow instead of rain. Have you ever heard of this, and has it happened in Fairbanks that you know of?
That's a good question, Alton. We have had thunder snow here, and what it is a thunderstorm going on while there's snowing. And the thing that makes it really unusual is that because of the ice crystals, the lightning is reflected back as a blue color and lights up the entire sky. Pretty cool. Thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. Tomorrow night, the teacher will be here with a unique weather fact about temperatures. Your forecast for the northern sections, cloudy skies at Barrow, more clouds for Nome and Fort Yukon. Here in the interior, we'll be looking at, for the most part, mostly cloudy skies at Fairbanks and Healy, some isolated showers at Healy. Heavy rain expected over southeast Alaska for Juneau and Ketchikan, while over to the southwest, it looks like isolated showers for Cold Bay, rain for Kodiak, and showers for Bethel. And down around the south central regions, looking at isolated showers for Anchorage, rain for Valdez, and scattered showers for Homer. And our forecast for the remainder of the night looks like this. Again, we're looking at the 5-day outlook. As you can see, we're looking at mainly partly cloudy to cloudy skies. No precipitation in the forecast. Temperatures will be very cool on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, even cooler overnight, and maybe a chance of an isolated shower Friday night into Saturday, but nothing really heavy expected and no major changes in the overall weather pattern, I should say. Pitter patter. Anyway, it'll be definitely continued chilly, that's for sure.
All right. Well, we knew it was going to come, but
right.
That's okay.
Those first below zero numbers in the slides, kind of scary.
It is,
a little nervous there.
Right, but it was only -1, so yeah, that's exactly. Not too bad.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Mike, and that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, President Obama apologized today for the airstrike in Afghanistan. on a Doctors Without Borders hospital. That's up next with Lester Holt.
And a special reminder to be part of the coat drive currently underway. Drop your items off at West Madden Realty, that is, at Gaffney and North Pole, at KTVF and 7th Avenue, well behind Wells Fargo's Bank.
Okay, from all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a good night. We'll see you back here at 11.
Good night.